With week 1 officially in the books, the Arizona Cardinals now turn their attention to the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Today, we're going to talk about the most intriguing position battles for the Arizona Cardinals, as well as when do we expect to see Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz. Let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. Definitely don't be one of these guys that love to hover around the channel. Subscribe it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely for free. Also, make sure you have your post notification bell on as well, just so you're aware of when we drop the next video or when we go live. Before we get started and talking about the updates from Kyler Murray as well as Zach Ertz, as well as the position battles, let's dive into the latest acquisition for the Arizona Cardinals, and that is none other than Sean Chandler, safety. Now, this individual here is 5'10", 200 pounds, 27 years old, so still very young. Looking at his history with the NFL, this is going to be his 6th year with the NFL, and it seemed like he was with teams like the New York Giants, the Panthers, and now finding himself with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, other than that, I don't really know too much about this individual, but it seems like the Arizona Cardinals went ahead and signed him back on Tuesday or Monday of this week. This happened around the same time we ended up bringing Zach Ertz off the PUP list, and now he is back and ready to come back in football form. And now shifting over to the superstar players for the Arizona Cardinals, Zach Ertz coming off the PUP list earlier this week and now expected to do full football activity. Now, it seemed like he actually did have a good practice, but it will be missing today due to an illness, but definitely nothing to be concerned from JG. Now, there was some questions about when do we expect to see Zach Ertz. I believe we heard Drew Petzing come back and saying that we're not going to be rushing Zach Ertz back to the field. So to me, that means I don't think I expect to see him anytime during the preseason. And even if we do, it might be very, very minimal. Expecting that he will be playing in week 1 of the regular season, I think the Arizona Cardinals might play it safe and keep him out throughout the entirety of the preseason, which absolutely makes sense. Now, we did get some updates pertaining to Kyler Murray. The media ended up asking JG about Kyler Murray and when do we expect to remove him off the PUP list. As of right now, JG ended up responding with, he doesn't know at this very moment. So it definitely seems like there is still some gray area with Kyler Murray and when he is expected to return. I'm still holding my hat that he's going to be coming back sooner than most people think. I don't think he's going to be playing week 1 of the regular season, but maybe week 3 or week 4 of the regular season, we might be seeing our franchise quarterback come back. Let's go ahead and dive into the most intriguing position battles for the Arizona Cardinals heading into week 2 of preseason, and we are going to be playing none other than the Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if you guys don't remember, we ended up starting our regular season with the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and it wasn't a good showing for the Arizona Cardinals and seeming to be the downfall, or at least the start of the downfall for the 2022 Arizona Cardinals. So I'm hoping the Arizona Cardinals come out differently in this preseason game, and I get it, right? Even if we win this game, there isn't really any bragging rights other than Cardinal fans saying, yes, that's 2 in a row to win at home, right? Because let's be honest, winning one home game last year was absolutely terrible for Cardinal fans. Now let's go and dive into the most intriguing position battles for the Arizona Cardinals. Now I first want to start off with the cornerback position. I think we got so much young talent, but really unproven talent at the same time, right? The Arizona Cardinals ended up drafting 2 cornerbacks this year, one of them being Garrett Williams out of Syracuse, as well as Ketrell Clark as well, which we ended up seeing him in week 1 of preseason. Now as of right now, I believe the number 1 cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals is going to be none other than Marco Wilson. Number 2 cornerback is still kind of up in the air at this very moment. I think there is something to be said about the veteranness of what Antonio Hamilton can bring. He also did get a interception in week 1 of preseason, so that might give him a leg up, but we got some other intriguing prospects in the cornerback position as well. As of right now in the depth chart, the Arizona Cardinals are sitting with Antonio Hamilton, Marco Wilson, Christian Matthews, Chris Boyd, Bobby Price, Ketrell Clark, as well as Garrett Williams. Now, we ended up seeing a little bit of Ketrell Clark in week 1 of preseason, and what he said was that he didn't feel like the game was too big for him. He actually felt very comfortable in that game. Now, we did see some flashes here and there, but we definitely need some more reps. More reps only helps out these young cornerbacks, especially because we're going against second and third stringers that once they go against those number 1 wide receivers, it might be a dose of reality. So I think the number 1 thing to me intriguing position battles for the Arizona Cardinals definitely has to be the cornerback position. I think it's going to be Marco Wilson, number 1. Number 2 going to be Antonio Hamilton. And then number 3, it's kind of a toss-up. Now, what I would love to see is Garrett Williams come back healthy. Now, if you guys didn't know, when we drafted Garrett Williams, he was supposed to be one of the best prospects coming out of this 2023 draft, but unfortunately, he had a really big injury. So the Arizona Cardinals took a risk, but getting an opportunity to get a young, talented player still in Garrett Williams, we're all holding hope that this guy can eventually be our number 2 cornerback, maybe eventually be number 1. So when Garrett Williams is healthy, I hope it's going to be Marco Wilson, Garrett Williams, and then maybe Antonio Hamilton. But I think right now, because we don't know the exact timeline of when Garrett Williams is going to come back, what I would like to see is Marco Wilson, Antonio Hamilton, and maybe giving Catrell Clark an opportunity, either him or Christian Matthew, just because he's got a little bit more experience. And I believe it's literally just a year difference of experience between Catrell Clark and Christian Matthew. So a lot of unknown for the cornerback role, but that's what I would love to see. Let's move over to position battle number 2, in my opinion. And I think this is going to be one of the most, I guess, the biggest battles, because in the defensive line, you got your nose tackles, you got your edge players. I think it's unknown throughout the entirety of the defensive line for the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, for our interior defensive linemen, we're rolling with Licky Fotu and Rashad Lawrence, right? But I don't think that is a for sure thing for the Arizona Cardinals. I think it's a position battle up in the air, right? We saw some highlights of Kevin Strong, maybe a Deontay Stills, Ben Still, Carlos Watkins. There is a lot of names out there and a lot of unknown for the Arizona Cardinals. What I would do is I would just keep it as it is, right? Unless somebody else completely flashes in these 2 preseason games, I would keep it at Licky Fotu and Rashad Lawrence. And if they don't work out throughout the year, maybe we can start looking into the draft of next year and maybe getting a really good, young, talented dog in the interior defensive line to kind of help bolster that defensive line. Now, the edge position, right? Still with the defensive line, so I'm kind of wrapping that all up in the number 2 biggest position battle is going to be the edge position. Got so much young talent. So much young talent. Former first round pick Zaven Collins, interesting, right? Najee Sanders, interesting, right? Cameron Thomas, interesting, right? We got a lot of young people, as well as Dennis Gardeck. Not a young guy, but obviously started in special teams and had a really, really good year. And then obviously the following year, he didn't really have a good year because of injuries, but he's looking to see maybe a bounce back season type of thing with Dennis Gardeck. And then Victor Dimikichi was a player that we ended up drafting that I don't think a lot of people were really talking about. So many different position battles right now, especially on the defensive line. I want to see somebody kind of explode. I want to see somebody really come out here and take that job, because as of right now, it's kind of unknown. We did see Cameron Thomas and Dennis Gardeck get a sack in week 1 of preseason. So if they can keep building on that, we might be seeing some starters heading into the week 1 of the regular season. Now let's move over to the last position battle and most intriguing position battle as well, is going to be none other than the quarterback position, ladies and gentlemen. We know Kyler Murray. We know the situation that we're dealing with right now as Cardinal fans. We heard JG saying that he does not know what the timeline is to remove Kyler Murray off the PUP list. So right now we got Clayton Tune. Right now we got Colt McCoy, and we got David Blau. And I know a lot of Cardinal fans are really excited about David Blau, especially because of that 2-minute drill towards the end part of the Broncos game that he ended up wielding his will and getting us back in that game. Definitely kudos to David Blau, but I do think it's a position of the 2. I think it's going to be a Colt McCoy and Clayton Tune show. They're battling for that second role, for the quarterback role as of right now, and that right now is seeming to be obviously the most intriguing. Most Cardinal fans want Clayton Tune to be the starter while Kyler Murray is down, but I think right now JG is leaning towards Colt McCoy because of week 1 of the preseason, right? We had him with the starters. We brought Clayton Tune for the majority of the game, but he was playing more with second stringers, third stringers more than anything. So as of right now, I think Clayton Tune still needs to prove a little bit more before he can be considered to get that number 1 role heading into week 1 of the regular season. But Colt McCoy, definitely a very good option if he can stay healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, is there another position battle that you guys are interested in? Make sure you put it in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cards.